So yes, traders, I really do mean that. I really believe that we only have a few months left in gold and silver and the mining sector, and also the stock market. We only have a few months left before we are likely to see a really big, deep pullback. And I'm going to share with you reasons why in this video. I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm seeing right now, but I'm also going to give you targets on where I think things are going right now for the next few months, and why I believe then that's going to then create a really significant pullback. But the good news is those who see this big massive cycle that's at play can not only get ready for it, but when you see this happening, it's probably going to create one of the greatest buying opportunities you've ever seen over the next 12 months. So I'm going to show you exactly how these massive cycles are at play and how they're all working through this. So a quick little disclaimer, guys. I want to get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, just a quick heads up. I'm actually giving away free access to my Mastery Trading course for a limited time. If you go to johnspeedgift.com, or there should be the first link in the description. The fact is that 80 to 90% of the stuff that you learn or you use on these trading platforms is a complete waste of time. And only about 5 to 10% of the stuff that you actually learn and use is going to move the needle in the positive direction for you. And that's over the last 20 years, I've put everything that has helped me move the needle in the positive direction in this here, and I've left everything else out. So go to johnspeedgift.com right now and grab complete free access to this Mastery Trading course. So traders, one of the things that I really want to I want to start off with gold, silver, and the mining sector here first. And then I'll get to the stock market and so on and so forth. Now, one of the things that I'm always doing myself, and I really want to encourage you guys to go down the path of looking at probabilities of how things work. And you don't want to be going down the path of inserting and creating up a story of this time is different, because we can't trade long-term success on this time is different, right? Because if you do take a trade right now on this time is different, then it's not really going to help you there. Makes sense? And so I'm all about, how do I teach you stuff? How do I teach you things in the markets that next year, 5 years from now, you're utilizing the same thing to help you with your trading, right? So firstly, let's actually get into gold and silver and what we're seeing from here. So I'll start off with gold. And this is something that's really interesting that I see a lot of people do, okay? And a lot of people, maybe some people, all right? And what I'm saying here is this, is that I see a lot of people, like we look at, this is the gold chart here. And gold's made a massive parabolic move, right? Like if you just look at these charts, this is the daily chart to the right, and this is the weekly chart to the left. Now, I'm sure you know that if you stepped back, right? If you stepped back and you looked at this gold chart, and if you weren't, let's just imagine you're not in gold right now, okay? And if you're not in gold, you'll probably be able to see what I'm looking at here. Now, FYI, I'm actually in the metals and miners right now. I'm long the metals and miners right now, right? Now, not all of them, right? But for trading purposes, I'm long the short term, okay? I also have a long-term investment, but I'll talk about that later on. But for this purpose, for this here, I'm actually bullish right now on the metals and miners, okay? So I'm not calling the top right now. But if we just look at these markets here, one thing I want you to be able to do is that one of the most important things to us as traders is looking at the markets from a non-emotional point of view. Not fear, not greed, not I've long this market right now, so therefore I hope it's going to do, and therefore I'm going to go down the path of looking for every single video on YouTube that's going to back up my evidence. One of the biggest mistakes I've made, and in that free course I'm giving away, that first link in the description there, the first video you get is the top 30 mistakes I make. And one of those mistakes that I've made in the past is not seeing the truth for what it really is and going down the path of looking for videos that's going to support my evidence. See, I knew I was right. Do you know how bad that is when your conviction is completely wrong and you've spent 12 months thinking the wrong things, and it's a disaster? And the purpose of me saying what I'm saying here, all right, is that if you look at any market out there, and again, I don't want you to insert one thing I want you to do is that I don't want you to insert a story of why this time is different, okay? Because there's a lot of stories out there right now of how the debt bubble, that the end is here and it's the end of the debt bubble. Is that true? Is that really true? If that's true, how come they're doing billions and billions of dollars more printing money right now? They're still printing more money right now, right? They're still doing more. So the end game's not here, not just yet. I think you're right with the end game, but it's not just here, just yet. The second thing is I want to sort of guide you down the path is that if you just look at any market out there, and if I bring up this gold chart here, any market out there, it doesn't matter whether it's the stock market, any market that creates a vertical move in the charts, all right? And again, it doesn't matter what chart you're looking at, that is called now bubble territory. Now, bubbles don't necessarily have to burst, mean we go down a lot, there's a big crash, but we do need time to refuel. If gold is going to go to $10,000, which I believe we're going to, right? We need a time to rest and refuel. And if you just look at how these markets work on the deepest level here, you'll be able to see that. Now, the purpose for me is not be right or wrong, it's just to help you have more of a high probability when getting involved with these markets. That's all I'm after here, right? Like, what's the probability here? And if you just look at gold, this is a weekly chart of gold over all this through here. One of the things that I'm trying to help you here is that when you start to see things frothy, when you start to see things where there is bubble territories in the markets, right? Now, most crashes in the past have come from the market already being in a bubble. The market generally doesn't just suddenly crash and we have a big drop to the downside. Most crashes happen because what happened before the crash was we were already in a very strong bull market for quite some time. And this is when crashes can start to happen, right? Even back through here, right? If you look back through, there was twice here. Let me go through to here. Oh, actually, I'll bring up this whole chart. So the whole thing about this, the start of this video here is I'm trying to show you how do you actually see a bubble forming. Now, the thing about bubbles is you never know when they're going to end. I don't believe the gold bubble right now is ending right now. I think we've got a maybe 3,800, maybe 4,000 target before we see this end. Now, hear me out. I'm not calling for a big crash out of gold, which actually we may get a significant pullback, and we need that, by the way. And we're probably going to get that. Right? So, but whenever we do get these, and if you look at any market out there, most of the time, and that's what I want you to be doing, okay? I want you to be looking at these markets from a most of the time, because that's how you can get ahead when you have something that happens most of the time. Now, the whole purpose around this is just to give you an idea of where we're at right now, so we can just see where we're at right now, okay? And so one thing that you can see here is that if there is things on the chart that tells us we're now in bubble territory, okay? If you go back to here, look at this here. This here was what? See that very big vertical spike? What ended up happening from that there? Look at that move that happened from there. Over a space of a couple of years, we had a big drop. Look at that very big vertical spike there. And then we had what? That. Look at that vertical spike through there. And then we had end up going through the here, which, by the way, that was then a 50% retracement. So one thing you can see here, now again, this is not gold, this is all markets. Markets do this, okay? And so if you look at this move through here, this is probably one of the strongest bull phases we've been in a long time. Now, once again, what you don't want to be doing right now is you don't want to be going down the path of saying this time is different. Because 12 months from now, how do you use that same information to help you do really well? I'm teaching something that happens most of the time. And so, but I do understand also there's a lot of traders out there, especially gold, that are hoping this thing, like that Peter Schiff is right and we're going to go to 10,000 from here. The markets just don't, All markets don't work like that, right? And then you insert all these other reasons why, well, central banks are not going to sell. Central bank's not going to sell, so how can it go down? And I always say, if that is your response there, my response to you is that if central banks have been buying, and what happened to this period through here? What happened through here? How come we actually had a drop here, and that was about a 8 to 10% drop through there? What about this big drop through here? What about this big drop through here? Is that because central banks are selling? Like, you see what I'm saying here, right? You want to validate your theory around, well, gold can't go down because the central banks are not going to sell. Well, just look at the market, right? Look at the market. Now, again, I do know that that's the whole thing through there. So the whole thing about here is that and same with the title here of this video, in a few months, it's gone, meaning it's game over. And we're like, for example, gold, it's game over for gold. Now, when I say game over, meaning this bull phase we've been in now for 2 years, it's getting towards the end. If we're going to go to 10,000, which I do believe, we need a resting phase. We need 1 or 2 years now, depending on how it works, to actually reset and refuel. If you think about the market as an energy source, not from but John, and then insert central banks, blah, 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 blah. Story. Don't look at story, look at facts. Look at facts, don't look at story. Story is like, it's the end game for the debt. Yes, that's been the story for a decade, right? Just go back through here, go back to the chart and see what the market does. Now, the market is like an energy source, right? And if you think about the market like an energy source, and think about the market like, for me, I'm training now. I'm starting to get into a lot more training now around boxing, heavy bag work, and so on and so forth, because I want to do another fight. Right? So think about me as a fighter, as an example. And the market works like this. It's just an energy source. Meaning, like, if I go and do a training session, and let's just say that the trainer kicks my ass big time. He absolutely kicks my ass something bad. It's not just a 60-minute training. It's like a 2-hour training. It's just like he kicked my ass. What's probably going to happen the very next day? I'm probably going to crash, right? I'm going to be like, man, I feel like I've been hit by a truck, right? That's the same for the markets as well too. So same for the markets is that the market will go up, I'm training hard, and then boom, I get a big crash, right? So whenever things start to become way out of whack too much, they end up correcting themselves. They have a way of working back. Howard Marks, one of the most sophisticators and one of the most legendary people in these markets here, 50 years of experience, I think it is, he says that markets have a way of finding themselves back to the mean. So that means what I want you to be doing here, for trading purposes anyway, okay? Trading is that just seeing what's going to happen over the next 12 months or so, maybe next couple of years, and just see this cycle play out. Just understand it. If you're a long-term investor out of gold, this is not for you. Right? Don't be buying and selling gold. Like, no, just understand what's coming, and just understand as an investor, you don't really care when the market goes down 30%, which I do believe we're going to see out of gold. You don't really care that. In fact, you would actually want to see that, because that's going to give you the catapult for a 10,000 gold from there, right? So long-term investors, just buy, hold. I see by 2030, I see 10,000 gold, okay? But for you guys that are actually trading the markets, and this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to do this first part of this video here, is to try to guide you guys down the path of how these markets actually work. They go through phases, right? We go through energy using phases and energy building phases. And the markets always find themselves way back to a mean. So we see here we have a very big bull market. Eventually, every market, and you don't know when this is going to be. So don't be putting your ego into the markets. Eventually, we go through one of these phases. Big bull market. This here was there was a 30% crash. Then a very big bull market for a few years. And then eventually we got to what? There. And then we had another very big bull phase, and we had this here. And now we're having another very big bull phase. What is going to happen? What is guaranteed to going to happen? Now, timing, I don't know. But you know what? We're going to go through another one of, see this here? This guy here, this guy here, this guy here. In fact, you know what? Let me make that more dangerous for you guys. How do I do that? Let me make it red. See this guy here after the 70s? After we had that massive move to the upside, what happened? Big move down. That was the drop there. And then we had a two or so year bull market from there. And then we had a crash from here. 2 or so bull market from here and a crash from, and then a drop. And by the way, that low there to that high there, that was actually a 50% correction. So yes, the title of this video was only a few months left, or only in a few months, it's all game over. Because as you can see that, again, this is where like you don't want to be putting your ego in there, right? You can see what's happening. Now the purpose of me doing this, and the reason I'm starting up this video today about this, because I want to help you identify how do you identify something on the chart that's telling you it's like at the crash? Because most traders who trade the markets, when the market does go smashing against them really quickly, and within a few months, they're getting crushed because they're like freaked out and they're surprised by the crash. Now, one, you never know when it's going to happen, but two, you just see whenever we go through these phases that it does happen in the markets from here. And you see this from all markets. If you go back to some of the biggest crashes in history, what happens if a market's going to crash, right? Oh my goodness, the market's falling off a cliff. Most of the time, 90+% of the time, it's because we actually had a massive bubble before it. So if we are going to see some really significant selling, which by the way, I think 2026 is going to be a bad year or down year for everything. I think, especially the crypto space, guys. Now leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this. But as a whole, everything is in bubble territory right now. Gold, silver's getting there as well too. Maybe silver's got a bit of catch up to play, right? But mining sector's done like 100% growth in the last 12 months. That needs to be cooling off as well too, right? That's not normal, right? And the same with the crypto space as well too. Like everything is just here we go, bullish, bullish, bullish. Especially the crypto space. My goodness. I'm talking to people these days and they're like, oh, the crypto market. I'm like, oh, there is something massive going to hit this market. And I believe 2026 is going to be a washing away. The purpose of me doing this video for you is I want to just, my job is just to show you that over the next 12 months, what are we likely to see? So you can just be prepared for it, right? And we could just be smart from it. And the reason why I'm showing this here is if you see every bubble, right? Even if I go to silver, right? I haven't, and again, this is for you guys that are long-term, just understand where we're at right now and just understand the cycle of things. That's all it is, right? So if you're a trader of the markets, you can look to trade it, but also secondly, you when that does start to happen, you're like, oh, I understand why this is happening, okay? There is so much power in the chart itself. And the more, if you understand GAN, you understand that the chart is the most powerful thing out there about what's happening and what's likely to happen moving forward. And if you understand how to read the charts properly, again, in my free trading course, I think phase number 3 in that free course is all about what's called price and time. And the price and time is one of the most powerful things out there to help you identify this. On the back of what I just said there about price and time was the exact thing that I use, a trading technique that I use, and I actually went long Ethereum down here and I caught this move to the upside. So that's what I'm talking about there. But the first part of this video is to try to talk about why I said what I said at the start of this, video is about in a few months gone. And that is because, like, even for silver, I do believe silver has more upside to go, right? I think maybe silver, possibly we may get to a new high right now, right? I think silver's just getting started, and that's why I say in a few months. I think gold has more move to the upside. I think the silver has more move to the upside. But then when that happens, just get ready for the catering. And the reason why I'm doing, again, I want you guys to protect yourself. Don't be, because the reason I'm saying that is because when bubbles start to happen, right? When bubbles start start to happen, it becomes noisy at the extremes. It becomes very noisy at the extremes. And especially if you're long and then suddenly you start to become very leveraged in these instruments, like you're massively highly leveraged, you got a large percent of your account in options in these markets, and they're short, they're only like a 2 or 3 month option. Actually, some of you guys are worse. They're like weekly options. You're going to get destroyed. You're going to get destroyed. Okay. And so the whole purpose around that is what? It's just to help you guys and coach you guys through the period, so you can just understand what's going on. Because again, guys, the way you get ahead as a trader long term is what? You trade the market based off how markets work most of the time. So even through here, right? Look at this here. Every single market out there, right? If we start to get some really crazy vertical moves, look at that. Why did silver crash in 1981? Because it had already bubbled. Remember I said before, for a crash to happen most of the time through history, it's because we've already bubbled before it. So when the bubble starts to happen in the present, stock market, Bitcoin, gold, silver, you see what I'm saying, right? Like you start to see the bubble right in front of you and you're like, oh. Now you don't know if it's going to crash or not. We could just go sideways for 12 months and that's going to be the reset to then go, right? Like gold did back here. Right, if I go back to gold, right? Like gold did back here, we had a very big move up and sometimes we'll go sideways. But even with this whole sideways period through here, we still did come back down. This whole drop here was actually a 50% retracement, right? So from this low point to the high point, as you can see, we went sideways from there. So you can see that, you can see what I'm looking at there. So with silver, once again, and again, traders, the whole thing about this first video is help you identify when things are starting to become very bubbly in the moment and you don't listen to the noise, because when the noise is very loud at the top and very loud at the bottom, oh my goodness, we're going to the moon, we're going to 10,000. We're starting to see that with gold. And then when the market crashes, guess what? Oh my goodness, recession, we're going to zero. It's like very noisy at the extremes, and we're starting to see it right now. Again, I must reiterate, I'm actually long on a short-term basis for trading opportunities and the metals and miners. So I'm actually long that. But I'm trying to share with you what's coming over the next few months, especially over the next 12 months, what we're likely to see. And when it happens, you're not shocked. And so, once again, for something to crash, if we're going to see a crash, the market, the chart will give us a warning sign. If we are going to crash, what do we look for? And every single time, look at silver, big move up, big crash, big move up, big crash. And the problem though is that where do we stop? Because we're already starting to see a nice move up overall to silver. Now I do believe we have more upside to come out of silver, but don't be too surprised if we did do this over the next few months that we end up getting something like that, because we're probably going to get that, right? Now, let me show you this here. So if I go back to let's go back to some of the biggest crashes in history with what we've seen, right? Now we can't use what happened in 2020 because that's sort of like a black swan. But if we go back, so let's go back to the Dow Jones and let's go back to say 1929, right? 1929. By the way, FYI, look at this here, right? Look at this here. Big move up, big move up, big move up, big move up, and then what ended up happening? 12 months of a drop. You see what I'm saying there, right? So for something to have a really big crash, let's go back to here, right? This is 2008. What about 1987? Remember 1987? Remember the big 1987 crash? Why did 1987 happen? Look at that chart. Look at this here. This thing just kept going up and up, and this went up for about, it actually broke out, and then we had this move up. And as you can see, from 1985, 86, 87, 2-year very big bull market, right? 2-year big bull market. Look at that. Look at that massive bull market. Gold right now, right? Oh my goodness, we're going to the moon. The economy is on fire. Stock market just keeps going up. I can't lose. Very noisy on the extremes, very noisy at the tops and very noisy at the bottoms, right? And this is it here. Now let me ask you a question. Now, and as you can see, right, if I zoom right in, you can't really see it. But if I zoom right out, they get a much more, oh, look at that. This thing is just crazy right now, right? Look at this here, up, sideways, up, 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 up. When you see this up here, what is likely to come over a few month period, right? Now, again, you just never know when that's going to be. But the whole thing is just be prepared for it. So when it happens, you're not shocked and you're not getting sucked in by the noise. Professional trading is not getting sucked in by the noise, right? And again, traders, this whole first part of this video here is to help you identify when things are bubbly, when things are getting bubbles. So if we do get some hard and fast reversals, you're not caught off guard. You're like, oh, okay, yep, I was sort of waiting for this. Because look what happened. Look at that through there. Why did this happen through here? Look at that. Big move on the downside. That was the 1987 crash. Why did we crash? Right? Why did we crash? Because look at that move to the upside. And then we picked back up, didn't we? This is the 1987 crash. What made this crash happen? So this is where it's very dangerous for a lot of people out there in the markets right now as a whole, because especially in gold right now, gold is just to the moon. And everyone's about gold and gold and gold. Again, it's very noisy at the tops. Okay, very noisy at the tops. And when I look at gold, I promise you, because I was trading gold and I was getting ready for a big move out of gold. Back through here. You know what the noise was? Gold is doing, when the market's doing nothing, that's when no one's talking about it. FYI, that's when you should be looking at the markets, right? Let's be smart here. Let's look at the markets that's when we should be looking at it, which I was, and I did. I traded it. I traded gold all through here. But do you know what the narrative was through here? Which, again, the narrative follows price, right? Narrative here is, gold is worthless, gold is hopeless, blah, 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 blah. If you bought Bitcoin in the last 3 years, and if you bought gold, this is what would have happened. Really? Whoa. Now what is the story? Well, if you bought gold in the last few years, and you bought Bitcoin who would have won? It's like, it's the story, right? Story. So, when we go down this path of seeing this through here, and we go down this path, down here, the narrative is not much, right? The narrative is like, oh man, gold's boring, gold's not doing anything. But now you're seeing what? Why are we seeing so much bullishness news around gold right now? Because the noise, the herd, the news follows price. When the market's going up a lot, up a lot, up a lot. Now, this is only a few percent of traders make it as a trader, and the rest get destroyed, right? And if you understand the reason why is because they can't differentiate the differences between noise and signal. And the noise follows the herd, and the herd gets destroyed, right? So right now you're seeing it right now, okay? And so therefore, if you look at how the markets work, it's not going to be a shock if we do push to the upside and then get what? And then get a big drop through to here, which is just a 50% retracement, which is what I'm expecting from there. And so if you look at, once again, if you go look at all markets, what was another really big crash that just completely destroyed everything from there? 1929. Okay, cool, right? 1929. Let's go to the 1929 crash. We had the 2008 crash. Cool. Yep. Right. But the big crash was what? 1929. Let's go to the 1929 crash. Oh my goodness. Look at this 1929 crash. Oh my goodness. Now remember I said before, right? That a crash doesn't just happen. For something to crash, it means it's too high. Why do you crash as a person? You've been working too hard, hasn't been taking a break, and you crashed. You've been going too much. Why do I crash when I've just had such a massive training session? If I have just an ordinary training session without pushing myself too hard, am I going to crash? No, I'm just slowly going. But if I've been going and going and going and going and going, I'm going to crash. The term crash comes from something being too high, too extreme. So this 1929 crash, why did that happen? Because from here, we went through there, especially around 1927. That's when we had this. Look at this move from here to here. Oh my goodness, here we go. And then what ended up happening? The crash. Why did the crash happen? Oh, it's going to the moon. It's going to the moon. Here we go. I can't lose money. And then the market crashes, and then people are freaked out. People are worried. People are scared, and they just can't see it coming. This is the super cycle when you start to look at the market, not from there's so many traders out. I know traders looking at from a daily perspective and a weekly perspective. But when you start to look at the massive cycle that's likely to happen over the next few years, and here's where the power becomes involved with what I'm talking about here. This is where it starts to become powerful. Because if you understand these massive cycles and you understand what's at play, this is where the massive cycles can create one of the most legendary buys of our lifetime. Because you're seeing what's happening right now. You know we're a bit stretched in the markets, right? And I think some of you guys that are just more rational, right? For you guys that are just like very ego-based and so on and so forth, and you're trading with your emotions, and which is why most traders don't make money. They're running with your emotions. You can see that through there. And if I go to all these markets, right? So this chart here right now, nah, this doesn't look like anything like when the market crashes in the past. That's it. No, the market, this time is different, John. Please don't be that guy. Please don't be that guy. No, this time is not different, right? That's what they probably said in all the other major crashes I just walked you through just there. Okay? So yes, we are in bubble territory. And yes, we're probably likely to see a significant drop coming real soon out of the markets. And so twofold for this. One, don't be sucked in by the massive amount of noise that's happening around all of these markets right now. It's just crazy the amount of bullishness right now. Don't be sucked in by that. It's very noisy at the top. And then secondly, over the next 12 months, or at least especially over the next couple of years, as we start to see what I just said there unfold, you're going to say, yes, I was expecting this because the market was telling us something big's coming soon. Meaning we're likely to see a lot of what's called shake and bake. We're probably likely to see some really hard selling soon. We're probably likely to see some people freaking out. Oh my goodness, why is the market crashing? And then guess what? The noise is going to flip. And you've seen this yourself, right? You've seen this yourself. If we go to the actual stock market, we went from here, and most traders through here in 2024, most traders are like, oh, this is easy. Trading's easy. Market just keeps going up. Market just keeps going up. Oh, market can't keep going down. Oh my goodness. And then what happens? We get the tariff situation, and very quickly the noise flips. Up here, the noise is, it's going to the moon. This thing can't go down. All I have to do, and I saw it so many times. Then what was the noise down here? That's it, recession, crash, it's all over. And this is where only a few percent of people can actually really do well out of trading, is I'm trying to show you, over my last 20 years, it's taken me 20 years of actually experiencing this. I've heard this, and this is where a lot of people that are watching this video right now, you're hearing this, but it may not make sense. It's taken me 20 years of experiencing this to realizing, hang on a minute, this is not right. Right? Most people are wrong, and then remember, the noise is following price. When the price is very big in the bull phase, oh my goodness, here we go, roaring, here we go, right? It can't go down. Don't be that, All right, don't beat that, because the noise is going to be very heavy at the extremes from there. So that's the first part of this video. It's all about bubbles, how we're seeing it right now, and if we just simply go to the markets, we can see it time and time and time again. If we go to, let me bring on. I'll bring on this chart here, and if we go to so I'll go back to gold and silver here. So if we have a look at this here, this is the silver price, and so I believe silver is just basing out here right now, and we're still in this up leg. So I still see more to come. But then, as I said before, small picture, big picture. What I'm doing right now, as you can see, this is the small picture, right? What's happening now? What could be coming up in the next few weeks? The big picture is what? The big picture is when you start to bring up charts that look like something like this, right? That's there. If I bring on the SLV price to get you a bit more data, right? This is the chart through here. That's SLV. This is GLD. So just understand that, right? So we can see that through that's the GLD price. Now, one of the best things you want to do is also, when the crash does happen, keep a level head, because then you can see, oh, this is all that's happening. If I bring on a logarithmic chart, this here, as you can see, this is a logarithmic chart. This is the logarithmic chart. And all this is going to do is what? If you follow Gann stuff, price and time need to be balanced. Right? Price and time need to be balanced. And what that simply means is, when we've done so much price, but the market just keeps going up and up and up, now we've done too much price, and inevitably what happens in every single time in history, even through the 70s and the defaults and all those sort of examples I've just walked you through, what ends up happening here? Right? We go through what's called a time phase. Price and time are the same. The market is an energy source. And if the market's been utilizing so much energy for so much time, we're never going to go through a time phase, a pullback here. But the good news is about what I'm saying for you guys is, if you actually look at this from a big picture perspective, right? Not just right now, but this is a monthly chart on the GLD. Why is this important? Because I truly believe if I bring this up from a big, massive cycle analysis and what I just said there, and we put it all together, why one of the greatest buying opportunities for you guys is coming real soon. Out of all markets. So yes, we can see here up, right? Is that the right color? Probably wrong color, right? Actually, you know what? Let's go green. Green, right? Up and then pull back and up, 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 up. We're probably likely to see that. But what is this really at the end of the day? We went sideways. What really is this at the end of the day for gold? This is just what? This is just now making the trend. Because you think about this now from, and this is where I know this may sound so simple, but I hope you get this. We know the trend is your friend until the end, right? And there's trends on daily charts, there's trends on weekly charts, but there's also massive long-term trends on weekly charts. Monthly charts. Big, massive long-term trends. So remember, the trend is your friend until the end. And for big, massive, long-term trends that generally happen, over the course of many, many, many years, you'll start to see the trend is formed, right? The trend is your friend until the end. But how is a trend formed? Let me ask you a question here, right? Let's actually do this here. So let's go black. Is the trend formed like this? Is that a trend? No, a trend is higher lows and higher highs. I'm pretty sure you know that. That's technical analysis 101. Okay, if you know that, then that's how markets work, right? Every single market goes through higher lows and higher highs. So if you know that, when the market goes up, it has to have a little bit of a drop to what? To create the higher low, because that's an upward trend, and then we go back up, and then we may form something like this here. Then it creates another higher low. See what I'm saying? So when the market goes up and then it drops for a bit, it's just creating a higher low, and this big long-term monthly chart, sometimes it takes a year or two for that to form. When we go up, 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 and we get a pullback through here, guess what? This is a higher low. This is probably going to be just another high low on the big long-term monthly charts, aka one of the greatest buying opportunities you're going to see, because then I see 10K gold. But we need a reset right now. We need some sort of reset, a refueling phase. We've been going to the gym. Actually, this here is like us being in camp, like an athlete camp. We've been going so hard now for about 6 months. Now, actually, I'm utilizing the boxer training camp, right? We've been going for 2 years in gold, as you know. But the athlete, what does the athlete do? The athlete, he's been going, training every week, training every day, going. And inevitably what's going to happen? Man, I just need to take some time off. And then he takes a couple of months off, right? He's like, I am just exhausted. I'm tired. My body's beaten down. I need some rest. That's how the markets work. Energy using phases when the market goes up, and then energy building. We have a pullback. And this is what the markets do. Price and time. So that's the exciting thing there, right? This is the GLD here. Same for SLV. I see SLV, same type of scenario. This is some trend lines here I've got from here. And if I just bring on my long-term, this is my longer-term trend line through here. What I see with silver is the same sort of thing, right? We may push back up to here around that 50 level here. But then when we do get a very big pullback, all that is what? At the end of the day, it's just what? Big move up, big pullback, higher low, up, down, higher low, and up through there. And what you see is a big long-term massive trend. So now I'm looking at the big picture. So when these big monthly charts are happening, and these things take a long time, right? When you see this happening, now you're looking at the market from a 10,000 foot view. You're not freaked out about this. You're not freaked out about it. Why? Because you're like, okay, it's just making the trend. This is what was going to happen. And if you utilize this from not just from the market perspective, right? But from that perspective there, let's go look at things like the Dow Jones. This chart here is going to bring it home for what I'm talking about here in today's video. Look at this. This is the long-term monthly chart. And this sounds really weird to most new traders, but for most people that have been trading more than 10 years, you're probably starting to figure this out yourself. Is that it's really ironic to see that every single little drop we've had over the last 10 years has been what? Just another higher low. Look at this here. Drop, higher low, drop, higher low, drop, higher low, drop, higher low. Every single time. This is when Trump became elected. Trump going to crash the market. This is the vid 2020. Oh my goodness, it's all over. This is recession fears 2020. Oh my goodness, it's all over. Now we had the tariff. Oh my goodness, it's all over. But we keep going up. So as we keep going up right now, on a short-term level basis, if we bring up the daily charts and we see what's happening here, right? We're starting to get extreme. If you start to look at things like, even for things like the S&P, we're starting to get extreme to the upside. So what does this here is the weekly chart. This here is the daily chart. We're starting to get to the extremes, right? What's probably likely going to happen? Let's look at the big long-term monthly charts here. This is the long-term monthly chart. If we do see more upside, which I do, and that's why I say only a few months left, then gone, right? Is that if we do this here, if we do see a move to the upside, and then we get what? So if we see this here, what's probably going to happen again? Right? And I know this, see what I'm saying here, right? So my hope through this training video for you guys right now, and this is stuff that I'm always talking about with my 1% group, is just really understanding these massive long-term cycles and going from the small picture, what's happening on the daily chart right now, to the massive long-term super cycles that are massive cycles that are happening on their weekly charts and monthly charts. And when you start to see this, you start to see what's going on, what's coming. And so you're not really caught off guard. You just don't know when it's going to happen, but you're not really caught off guard. And when you start to understand the markets on a deepest level like this, and again, my 1% group is that I'm all with them to identify the shorter term trades, but also how do you jump in these big long-term, massive long-term trades that are getting ready for some really big moves, right? If you do need some help around that, guys, and you would like to be part of that group and be coached by me every single day, which, by the way, if you're struggling right now, you absolutely do need, because I promise you, spend 12 months with me and I promise I'll completely transform your trading. That second link in the description there, guys, that's an application form for my coaching program. I think I've only got 2 spots left. I'm not sure. There was 10, but I think I've only got 2 spots left. So if you do need that, guys, that's basically a 12-month over a year. It's actually over a year of every day making sure I'm giving you everything you can from trading, investing, and so on and so forth. So you see the S&P 500, right? You see the S&P 500 has made a very big move to the upside. What is probably going to happen again, right? It goes up, we go down, we go 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 up. See what I'm saying here? And by the way, this here, if this comes back down to here, you know what that is there? That's just a 30% crash. So when the 30% crash is happening and you're looking at the daily charts and we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 months of downward movement and we're getting this here, oh my goodness, the market's crashing, that's it, it's going down. Really, really, really successful traders, and one thing that's helped me so much identify and not be so emotionally drawn to what's happening right now, but what is really going on. Look at the long-term monthly charts. The monthly charts tell us a massive picture of what's going on. So if we're dropping through here, which I'm expecting next year, a 20 to 30% crash on the downside. By the way, that is just if you remove the word crash, it's just it now having another resting phase. Because we've been pretty strong. Right? We had a short-term flush at the start of the year, but we've been pretty strong for a while. But this one here is what? It's probably just a reset. And then, just like gold and just like all these other markets from here, I see there's a massive super cycle coming. And then guess what? And then we're going to see through here. So for you guys, even for traders, but also you guys that are investors, I honestly believe the next 12 months, just by you understanding these massive cycles from here and how things work, there is going to be one of the most amazing buying opportunities you've experienced in your lifetime. And the supersonic boom we're going to see. This here is going to be very big AI driven. We've started AI right now, but we're in the early stages. We're probably going to see a short-term freak out. And that's going to be, as you can see, but for the monthly chart, it's going to be something like that. Gold, yes, we are getting towards the end of this debt bubble and we're at the end game, but we're not there yet, right? We're not there yet. They still have more ammunition in the bag. They still have more room to move. We're not there yet, okay? We're probably one more big bang to happen. So there's probably going to be a recession, so on and so forth. So yes, we are at the end of the game, but I think your timing is off. We're probably likely to see a big drop first. They still can print more money, aka they're already doing it. So if you guys say it's the end of the game, that's it, they can't print any more money, that they've reached their limit, what has Trump been doing this year? He's printing more money. So if your theory was the debt bubble is going to explode, that's it, it's the end of the game, how come they're still printing more money? Because they're not at the end of the game. If they were, they wouldn't be able to print more money. Makes sense, right? So let's just be logical from here. So, yes, but then, as I said before, from 2027, if you guys can, this 2026 period is going to be one of the greatest opportunities you're going to see. For you guys that are really good for long-term investors, right? Even for you guys that are looking for more opportunities that last, which, by the way, I recommend you doing. If you're day trading this market, you're getting your head handed to you. And you know that. If you're short-term trading, trying to look for weekly incomes, it's the worst thing to do in these markets. You're getting destroyed. You know that. If you trade like I do right now, which is swing trading, trying to look for things over the course of a couple months, this is when you can start to have some really big profits. But 2026 is going to be one of the greatest buying opportunity years you're going to see, because we're likely to see what I just said there. And how that plays out, we don't know. But then 2027 to 27 to 2030, this period through here is going to be one of the greatest opportunities. And if we can step back, be patient, and set ourselves up, then yes, the supersonic boom we're likely to see out of the stock market, because of the AI boom we're going to see right now, and just the AI productivity boom is just massive, right? Absolutely massive, huge amounts. But then not only that, but what's happening with gold and silver and even the mining sector itself, right? if you look at the actual, if we go to the weekly chart, one of the big markets that I've been a long-term investor in is actually the GDXJ. And the reason why, guys, and this way, guys, like if you need some help, you need my coaching program because I can teach you so much about these markets. Again, 20 years of experience, that's what you get, right? Yeah, so all I do say is that whenever we have spent years and years and years and years doing this through here on basing, we're getting ready for a really big move, right? This happens most of the time. Whenever you see a long-term basing pattern like this, right now we're at the early stages of a gold mining boom. Gold mining boom, right? Now, what does that mean as a whole? Let's just be sensible here, okay? A gold mining boom is what? The early stages is we've gone up, we've gone up, we've gone up. But how do the markets really work? We go up for a bit and then we have a pullback. We've gone up through here, not really pullback, up, 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 up. We might get a very big pullback into 26, 50% retracement, 50% retracement, and then we see something like that, right? Because that's how markets work overall, right? Even on the downside, we go through down lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So that's this whole video, once again, guys, is just to try to show you that nothing is random out of the markets. And especially if we can look at the market from a 10,000 foot view, these massive long-term views, there's always these massive long-term cycles. And one of my biggest mistakes that I made so much is if I bring up, say, for example, I'll bring up this chart here and I bring up the moving averages. My mistake was I was always focusing on this chart here alone. And what is this chart here? This chart here is any chart, but focusing on the very short-term analysis. Oh, look, this is what the GDX is doing right now over the course of 6 months. And actually even worse, most people are focusing on the, like this here, right? Or they might get the candlesticks and they're zooming right in and they're seeing what's happening with the candlestick right now and so on and so forth. This is very, 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 very short-term picture, right? So you can't really see the massive cycles at play. But if you zoom, even if you're zooming out, say the last 6 months, yeah, this is the last 6 months here, but the most successful traders on the planet, they utilize multiple time frames. And by utilizing multiple time frames, we can actually go through this market in a way where when crashes do happen, we're not surprised by them, right? But two, the market starts to give us some warning signals. And we don't know when it's going to happen, but over the course of 6 and 12 month period, as this thing starts to really go through the Big Bang Theory, right? And we get the big strong selling and all that sort of stuff, you're not surprised. In fact, you're the 1% who's now excited because you're like, I've been waiting for you. This is the time. This is the time. And the noise is going to be the sky is falling, and you're going to be one of the 1% that can add not just one extra zero to your account, but maybe an extra 3 or 4 zeros to your account, because now you're part of the sophisticated investors where the noise is always wrong. And now you're like, this is the long-term massive cycle. I've been waiting for you. And then after that, you're the person who got lucky because you bought at the right time. And no, you didn't get lucky. You were just properly educated by this amazing trader and coach, me, over 20 years of experience and trying to show you the truth about these markets so you can add an extra few more zeros by the time 2030 comes around. By the way, traders, if you're serious about leveling up your trading, I've opened up 10 spots to my Inner Circle coaching program. This is where I share all my best trading strategies I trade every single day. You get access to my scans that I use all the time as well too. Every single week I do a live weekly group coaching session for the Inner Circle group, and my whole goal there is to help you become a well-rounded master trader. Emotional management, trade management, letting your profits run, cutting losses short, and all the different discipline, patience, all the different areas to help you become a well-rounded master trader. And also, you get access to an exclusive committed group of all the Inner Circle group so you can communicate with them, and that's our private Inner Circle group as well too. But this is what I want you to do right now. This is only application only. We're only looking for committed traders, and if you're ready to go, then that's for you. There should be a link in the description there, or go to getjohntop.com right now. Go fill out the application form. It's only for the first 10 only, because I like to keep the group really small. So go there right now. Go to getjohntop.com right now. Go fill out the application form, and I will personally be speaking to you on the phone, and we'll go from there to see if you're a good fit for what I'm looking for. Speak to you soon, traders.